5 quarterbacks kind of really to discuss in this upcoming NFL draft. So let's get into it, man. And I'm going to start with T Boogie on this one because obviously your 49ers made the biggest splash when it comes to, quarterbacks in this draft by trading up to the number 3 pick. Most of the reports are saying that, they're trying to get Mac Jones, which to a lot of people, including yourself, sounded a little crazy, right? So let's start with you, T, man. What do you think about that number 3 pick? Do you think it'll be Mac Jones that the 49ers select?
Me and Scruff went back and forth about this. I don't want it to be Mac Jones. A lot of 49ers fans don't want it to be Mac Jones. But as they claim that he's the most NFL ready. I want it to be Trey Lance. The guy has big-time potential. Fields has potential. I don't really trust Ohio State quarterbacks. Braxton Miller, Terrell Pryor, J.T. Barrett, Cardale Jones, the list goes on. I don't trust that tree. So I'm Trey Lance. But I don't know what Cal's going to do. But I know if you take a guy like Mac who doesn't really represent where the league seems to be going with guys that can also make plays on their legs, make plays outside the pocket. You take a guy like that and you don't win with a team that appears to be ready to make another Super Bowl run. Everybody's coming back healthy. You can get Kyle, Lynch, somebody can get fired like that. So I'm hoping it's not Mac. I think the pick is Fields or Lance. I think that Mac is the smoke signal.
And that would be a hell of a smoke signal because it seems like that smoke has gotten everywhere. But the old verbiage, T, where there is smoke, there is fire. Lion, what do you think about that? That's another one where you're hitching your wagon to somebody that may or may not have the capabilities. Scruff, what do you think about? You were the first guy that kind of came on our radar with the Mac Jones news. What do you think about Mac Jones? What do you think about the rest of these quarterbacks? Let's just open the table up and have a quarterback conversation.
Well, when it comes to Mac Jones, I just trust my sources, man. That's my biggest thing. I trust my sources, man, and my sources told me that they were high on Mac Jones. So that's what I'm going with, bro. My sources is never wrong. Not often, anyway. Yeah, I like Mac Jones a lot, bro. We talk about the league changing, T, but didn't Tom Brady just win the Super Bowl last year? I think pocket quarterbacks are doing just fine. Mac Jones is your definition of a pocket quarterback. Right? You talk about completion percentage. You talk about, tape, Mac Jones is a guy that was just throwing dimes left and right. Bryce said it before. He was more productive with those receivers than Tua was. And everybody loved Tua. You know what I'm saying? Everybody loved Tua. So, where's the Mac Jones love at? And it seems like it's coming along just fine. And I think for a team like the 49ers, who are a great defense, you could take a quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl. I think Mac Jones is the right guy. Huge arm talent. You got a guy that's a true winner. You need to win. That's the end of the day. You got a game manager right now. So a guy that's got the intangibles and can win. I like it. I like it a lot. I like Trey Lance, but I think that he's got the boom or bust potential. I could see him being really, really good as a pro, but I'm not sure. And thing about Wilson is I don't know if he's battle tested enough. I think he's had a pretty smooth route, and it's been nothing but sunshine and roses for my man so far. And if he gets drafted by the New York Jets, you're going to be smelling a whole nother different aroma when you step into that building. And I don't know if he's going to be able to handle it. So I think he's got the biggest bust potential. But I'd say if you talk about boom potential, I think I like Trey Lance a lot. But Trevor Lawrence is the can't miss prospect. You can't miss on him. But Mac Jones, he's a very, very solid quarterback. I think he could be the piece that the 49ers need. And just say, just so I have it on record, I'm going to go ahead and say it, man. Mac Jones is going to get drafted by the 49ers. They're high on him. That's Kyle Shanahan's guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know one thing. When Kyle Shanahan has a guy, he doesn't waste any time going and getting him. I can respect that from Kyle Shanahan, man. When he identifies what he wants, he goes out and grabs it. Rome, man, we moving to you, bro. Quarterbacks, let's break them down. Let's hear something. Listen, let's have a little debate on these guys, man. Who do you think is the top QB in this draft, and who do you think has the most bust potential, Rome?
The top QB is not even really debatable. It's got to be Trevor Lawrence. We could probably just take him out the conversation. He's going to Jacksonville. Zach Wilson's probably obviously going to the Jets now. Scruff already alluded to it. It's where quarterbacks go to die. I said it in the last segment. I just looked at a list of the quarterbacks the Jets have had in my lifetime. It's laughable. Mac Jones. We could debate if he's the best guy for the 49ers to draft or not, but I tend to agree with Scruff. Everything that I've looked at says that he's going to the 49ers. I'll send you the jersey in the mail. We got Trey Lance and Justin Fields to round this thing out. My hot take or my bold prediction, so to speak, for the draft, I think all five of these guys are going to go in the top 10. I don't think one of them falls out of the top 10. Maybe that's not that bold, but I think all five of them will be gone by the time we get to the 7th or 8th pick. Um, but the most bust potential, I'm gonna go Zach Wilson, and not just because he's going to the Jets. He's kind of a 1-year wonder. I mean, he kind of came on really last season. Wasn't talked about too much before that, as you know, at least not like this. And I'm not big on guys that have one good year in college, other than Cam Newton. Other than that,
Joe
I mean,
Burrow.
like, yeah, I'm not big on my guy Joe. Mitchell Trubisky is the guy that comes to mind who had one hot season in college, and all of a sudden everybody wants to jump up draft picks and trade away other quarterbacks who are probably more valuable to get a guy who's not really proven. But we'll see, man. I mean, maybe the Jets will turn it around one day. They're a lot like the Knicks in my mind, and they're just one of those franchises where it doesn't really matter. So the biggest bust potential, I would say, is Zach Wilson, and potentially Mac Jones. So I see T's fear in the 49ers drafting Mac Jones. I don't know if he's the guy, but I'm not Kyle Shanahan. I didn't blow any Super Bowl losses when I was the OC for the Falcons or anything like that. So maybe that man knows something I don't about Mac Jones, but I would say him or Zach Wilson for the biggest bust potential.
I'll add this to the Mac Jones conversation. If he falls to Carolina, oh, best believe that's a playoff team.
Yeah,
I mean, look,
maybe.
Mac Jones, to me, has the most bust potential. Like, he scares me the most out of this whole class because, again, he's the only guy that can't get it done, you know what I'm saying, with his feet. And if you watch his tape, right, this is how I judge quarterbacks coming out of college. One, where they land, what team they land with. Obviously, if he goes to San Francisco, that's a great destination for a rookie quarterback. Defense, running game. But how did you do when there was pressure? Because when you go to the pros, a lot of those pockets aren't clean. A lot of times there's a hand in your face. You got to move. And he moves well in the pocket, climbs the pocket. He doesn't really feel the pressure. But when you look at the footage, how often did he even get pressure? He's throwing a Heisman Trophy winner. He's throwing a receivers that people think will make multiple Pro Bowls. I think it was really easy for him in college. A 1-year wonder type of guy. Also, I mean, I don't know. I just didn't like. I don't like his tape. Nothing really popped to me. I thought the ball placement was pretty well, but I also thought a lot of the throws you're throwing to like superstars and just no pressure, man. It's almost like a drill at that point. You know, nobody hitting you. You're not beat up. When you get to the league, man, defensive ends are coming to kill you, and linebackers are blitzing up the A gap. I didn't see him navigating that at all in Alabama, and that's the pro game. So that's my biggest issue with him. And he doesn't have the arm strength that anybody else in that top 5 has. All those other guys, man, can sling it. Mac is kind of just I don't know, man. He reminds me of an Andy Dalton, maybe a Matt Ryan. I don't know, man. But it's hard to watch Matt Ryan. I mean, it's hard to watch Mac Jones to me and get excited because all I see is amazing talent around him in college.
Of the top quarterbacks not named Trevor Lawrence, I would probably lean towards Trey Lance or Justin Fields over anyone else. Probably Trey Lance.
Well, I mean, Lance? I gotta go back to Mac Jones right now because, man, the Mac slander is real, bruh. It's kind of crazy to me. You talking about a guy that's fresh off a chip, you know, like I alluded to, Scruff alluded to. He did more with what Tua had. Everybody loved Tua, but Mac Jones did far more with the same guys. And I don't really view Mac as a 1-year wonder because when he stepped in for Tua after Tua got hurt the year before, it was no drop off. In fact, you know, those receivers look just as good, if not better. I think Mac Jones, to me, he's actually the safest quarterback prospect. I guess I can't put him over Trevor Lawrence when it comes to safe quarterback prospects, but yeah, I can't do that. But I would say he's the second safest quarterback prospect in my opinion. I don't see Mac Jones being a bust. You just compared him to Matt Ryan. If you go anything like Matt Ryan, that's an MVP of the league. So I mean, I feel like that's a great situation. If he's Matt Ryan and he lived up to everything he was supposed to. You know what I mean? I think Rome made a great point too about these 1-year wonders at quarterback. You got to be wary of that, and that's the only thing that worries me about my guy Trey Lance. Trey Lance, I'm super high on. In fact, going into the season, I thought there was a chance he could, possibly beat out Trevor Lawrence for that top spot. I thought there could be some real controversy up top of the draft if Trey Lance had a full season and performed the same way he did the year before. You're talking about in 2019, a guy that had 28 touchdowns, 0 interceptions en route to a championship. My NFL comparison for Trey Lance, he reminds me a ton of Colin Kaepernick, but with even more underneath accuracy. He's a far better underneath passer, but in the run game, he reminds me a lot of Colin Kaepernick. He can make things happen with his feet, and it's like you just look up and he's already halfway down the field with his strides. To me, he's got the best arm in this draft, and I think in his pro day, he wasn't super accurate, but when you watch his deep ball on tape, it's hella accurate. I mean, it's like unbelievably accurate. And sometimes you're looking at his tape like, how did guys drop that? I'm really high on Trey Lance. In fact, I got him as my number one target for my Washington football team at the moment. I would love for us to trade up and try to nab Trey Lance. And a lot of people think he needs to sit for a year. I don't think so. I think he can be thrown right into the fire. I think he eventually develops into a Josh Allen type of quarterback where he can beat you with his feet. He can beat you with his arm. He can beat you with his feet. Maybe it takes him a year or two to really, capitalize on his passing ability. But I'm super high on Trey Lance. I think a guy that's also getting kind of shitted on right now is Justin Fields, man. Like Justin Fields, for a minute, people would think he could be a number one pick. And this is coming off his off last year. People were saying, hey, Justin Fields might be number one pick. This year he balled out. He only had maybe 2 bad games. I think one of them was against Indiana where he didn't look too sharp. But Justin Fields is a baller, man. He's the best running quarterback in this draft. I think he's fresh off running like, a 4.42 or 4.45. Man, the boy's got speed. There's character concerns, but to me, those are kind of out of left field because everything I had heard leading up to this point was that Justin Fields had sterling character. So, I know some of these schools, including Alabama, you got to kind of hesitate when you're trusting one of their quarterbacks. And there's not really ever been an Ohio State quarterback to really thrive in the next level. Talking about Cardale Jones, Dwayne Haskins. What's my guy's name that won the Heisman that year? I don't know.
Terrell Pryor, Braxton Miller, JT Barrett.
JT Barrett.
They've had a lot. They've had a long list, man. But I think Justin Fields, especially when you're talking about this guy might like Justin Fields because his name is Justin. Are you just going with him because your name is Justin too, guy? I don't know. But Justin Fields is definitely a dog, man. I think he's one of those guys that can come in, help immediately because he has the elite speed and he can really get it done with his legs.
Yeah, you mentioned them character issues, man. It's really a double standard, man. I seen something earlier that really irritated me. Is just talk about Justin Fields and saying that he has character issues, and I just feel like that's one of those like microaggressions, one of those code words that they use to pretty much like keep a brother down, more or less. But they talking about character issues, and I love Mac Jones and shit, but Mac Jones got multiple DUIs. Ain't nobody talking about that. And I ain't trying to slander my man. I ain't trying to mess up your bag, homie. I'm just saying, bro, you gonna call the quiet bro that really ain't. I never heard nothing bad about Justin Fields ever. But ain't nobody heard nothing about these 2 DUIs. I know personally, if I had 2 DUIs in my history, I would be a little concerned. If I was your mother, I would be concerned. That's all I'm saying.
That's what I mean, man. Anybody can go out there and throw the Waddle and Smith hungover. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to draft that guy.
Nah, but I will add though. Bryce talked about completion percentage. I know it's college, but 77% completion percentage is absurd. And 41 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. Really productive, bro.
I watched the game where 3 interceptions were dropped. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a hater. Obviously, if he goes to the 49ers and he wins, right, I'll be on it. I'll be team Mac. But, just if we look at quarterbacks straight up, Mac he has a high floor. He looks like he can come in and run a huddle right now. But he has the lowest ceiling out of all of these guys, right? You said he's probably the safest pick. Safe picks get you fired in the NFL. That's just what it is, man.
These quarterbacks are getting overanalyzed because it's draft time and they're quarterbacks. This draft is a lot like the EJ Manuel, Jake Locker draft. Like these guys are not gonna be around, with the exception of maybe 2 of them. 2 of them. I see 3 busts.
Hey,
I mean,
you making a good point right there, Rome. I think we could see one of these later quarterbacks end up being maybe not the best because you do have a Trevor Lawrence and you do have a Trey Lance, where they're both going to be good in my opinion. But there's some later quarterbacks. You talk about a guy like Kellen Mond, talk about a guy like Davis Mills.
Kyle Trask.
Kyle Trask, I'm not too high on, but that's another guy that he was doing work in the SEC. And I do think that we could see a situation one of these quarterbacks is ranked a little bit lower on the totem pole, comes in and ends up being the best guy. My guy in that regard would be Kellen Mond. Kellen Mond is my dude, man. If y'all haven't seen the Kellen Mond tape, you should check it out. Very accurate passer, pretty good deep ball, and he has legs too. So I like Kellen Mond a lot. But we could see one of these lower quarterbacks, come up and end up being the best from this class. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, who was saying what about Russell Wilson at this time, the year that he got drafted?
I will tell you, my boy, man, my best friend, my boy Mark. He told me during that draft that Russell Wilson was the best quarterback, and it wasn't even close. And I wasn't hearing it, but he knew what he was talking about. I need to get his take on these quarterbacks. Now
he must be the one that gave you that crystal ball.
Nah.
Nobody will ever believe me, but I was pretty high on Russell Wilson too. I wanted the Eagles to draft him, but he actually got picked a little early in the 3rd round. We couldn't snatch him.
Russell definitely ended up being a baller, man. And, one thing about Russell, my guy leveraged his NFL stardom and got him a superstar wife. So shout out to my guy Russell Wilson, man. He gets a lot of hate. It seems like he's another polarizing guy. You either love him or you hate him, but I rock with the boy Russ.